weather. It governs our world, bringing life, death, and destruction.
God damn it, go back.
We're fine.
Oh my God! It's drowning!
Wow. World's deadliest weather is back. Bigger and badder. This time we include deadly natural disasters.
One of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Featuring earth-shattering quakes.
Yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. Pero yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
I saw an entire building collapse.
It was like something out of a movie.
And volcanoes.
It looks like all of my wildest dreams.
Using people's extraordinary self-shot footage.
We're gonna die, dude! We gotta get out of here! Mason, get away from the windows now!
And their death-defying stories.
I remember instantly thinking, I just watched her die.
I had to turn on my inner stunt driver and just get out of there quick.
I thought I was gonna burn alive.
We go eyeball to eyeball with Mother Nature.
It's crazy! It's crazy! Come on!
And witness up close
Get on there!
the all-consuming power of the elements.
The mountain was coming to get us.
Flash right there! This place is just hell.
It was just horrific.
I had never in my life experienced anything like that.
Everybody take cover! Now!
Coming up in this episode,
I think our door just blew open.
one of the world's most powerful hurricanes decimates a string of Caribbean islands.
I just remember how scared I was. I thought I was maybe going to die.
In the North American wilderness, a dying horse undergoes a dramatic rescue.
You could tell that he knew that we were there to help him.
And a carer faces a desperate battle against catastrophic floods to reach his orphanage.
It's really a terrifying moment.
It's the 2017 hurricane season, and building out in the mid-Atlantic would be the year's biggest and deadliest storm, Irma. This maximum Category 5 hurricane was the first on record to maintain winds of 185 miles per hour for 37 hours. After obliterating 95% of buildings in the Caribbean island Barbuda, on September the 6th, Irma lined up its neighbor, St. Martin. Florida yachties Ariana Zaya and Christian Hightower had been enjoying an extended Caribbean cruise when engine trouble forced them into the island's marina.
We are getting ready for
Hurricane Irma.
today. This is the day, it's D-Day. It's supposed to hit today at like 8 o'clock. At first, we were gonna stay in the marina. The day before, actually, the storm hits, the guy was like, no, now it's gone up to a 5, and he's like, you guys can't stay here. We have decided we're gonna stay in a hotel tonight. I didn't really know what to expect. The news just kept getting worse. It's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad.
I don't think many of those boats will be there.
We went to 5 to 6 hotels before we actually ended up upon the hotel that we stayed in. It's a relief. We're not going to be stranded on a boat. This is our view from our room. Hopefully everything will be okay. I decided I'm just going to make a really comfy little safe haven in the bathroom. Put all what water we could have in there, the food that I had in there, just hope this was going to be good enough and hope the bathtub and our roof was going to hold.
As Ariana and Christian hunkered down at their Mayho Beach Hotel, across town, renowned Brazilian vlogger Lorraine Mavromatis and her husband, medical student David, were preparing to leave their home for a safer haven.
Só sair de casa para se proteger. muito difícil você sair de casa e não saber como que vai estar. A gente já tá indo pra escola e vamos ficar lá até acabar tudo isso.
The school advised all the students to take shelter at the school because it was the safest building on the island. It was built to sustain a Category 5. It was roughly about 1,000 students and we were all concentrated on the auditorium.
Todos os estudantes aqui, a gente tá todo mundo junto nessa, um ajudando o outro, é uma família.
We had water, canned food. I got my own little spot next to the door. I didn't want to stay too close to the windows because I was scared if something shattered or anything.
Falaram que vai chegar daqui 3 horas. Ele tá vindo mais devagar ainda, o que é mais perigoso ainda.
At about 5 p.m., it started to get cloudy and dark. You could see that the hurricane was coming.
Gente, eu tô tremendo, dá muito medo. Tô com muito medo.
That was the first Category 5 hurricane to hit the island.
A água não para de entrar, tá muito forte.
Throughout the whole night, you would hear this really, really strong wind. It was the most awful sound that I could hear, and we had glass windows close to us, so we saw everything. Trees were flying as if it was paper. You would see metal things getting bent so easily. It was just terrifying to see that. I never saw something like that before. When I felt the wall shaking, I started panicking.
Dá muito medo e eu tô tremendo. É muito forte o barulho é muito forte. Parece que tem um trem passando, parece que tá tudo caindo.
I just remember how scared I was. I thought I was maybe going to die.
A few miles away, as 200-mile-per-hour winds smashed their Mejo Beach hotel, Ariana and Christian were just as freaked out.
Very scary here.
The sounds that are coming from outside are insane.
I think our door just blew open. For those hours that we were just sitting there in kind of in this limbo of unknown, it's scary. Everything in your mind is just kind of in a whirl. You're hearing all those sounds and this building just shaking, and it's not normal for a building to shake. Still waiting out the hurricane. It's crazy here. We had water coming in from the ceiling. We had about 4 inches of water at our feet. Water, it's not just fresh rainwater that's coming in, it's the salt and the grime, everything's covered in it.
It's leaking in the roof, coming in the air conditioning vent.
You know, we didn't know if we were gonna die or if we were gonna live or if our boat's still there.
And this ship's gone.
The boat is probably gone.
After 7 hours relentless battering, both couples were about to get a welcome respite.
All of a sudden, it stopped. You couldn't hear anything.
É uma correria, tá todo mundo se preparando porque tá no olho do furacão agora.
The eerily calm Hurricane I was over the island, signaling Irma was halfway through.
We went outside during the eye of the storm.
Look at that.
No joke.
Yeah, babe.
No joke. It's crazy out here. We've been buzzing down all night.
That's when we all looked at each other and we thought that was it. But we had one bar of cell phone service and we called our parents and we said our goodbyes.
Later, Ariana and Christian and Lorraine and David witnessed the incredible destruction from a Cat 5 hurricane.
It was one of the toughest moments of my life.
Everything here is devastated. And there's boats everywhere, scattered everywhere. It's bad. It's really bad.
And as Irma barrels west to Cuba, a British couple's dream holiday turns into hell.
It sounded like a train. It got into the bedroom. It was just so intense. I think that bathroom door was the only thing that was between us and essentially what was just a wind tunnel.
Deadly weather can be harsh and merciless, with scant regard for man or beast.
All of this.
They say rainy conditions is nice weather for ducks.
We had a nesting duck on the property.
But not for this one. Caught up as Major Hurricane Maria lashed the island of Dominica with 200-mile-per-hour winds.
She's sitting on 12 eggs.
Thankfully, this story has a quacking ending, as her eggs hatched into a beautiful brood of ducklings.
And here they are. And the first sign of life.
Here's a pitiful scene in Costa Rica that will melt the coldest of hearts. A baby sloth is stranded after an overnight storm, mewing desperately.
Hang on, I got a box for you.
Or grab that camera.
This little mite had a lucky break. It was taken to the nearest rescue center, where it can hang out like a lazy sloth again.
We have rules. No. Oh, no. 2 more, babe.
In Oregon, USA, meltwaters are in full flow, turning the Grand Ronde River into a lethal torrent.
Get out, buddy. No.
It hits with such fury the unwary can easily get caught out. Like these white-tailed deer, perched on this chilling ice conveyor belt, hurtling at over 10 miles per hour.
There was 2. He can't get out, we can't.
The people filming this saw 2 scramble to safety. The fate of the third is unknown. In Queensland, Australia, there's something brown and nasty in a toilet.
And we've got ourselves a brown tree snake in behind where the toilet flush is.
These brown tree snakes are not to be messed with. They're able to put prey into a death squeeze and deliver a mildly poisonous nip.
That's all right. They can do that.
After a scare and struggle, it's in the bag.
And in he goes.
In Vladivostok, Russia, where temperatures can plummet well below freezing, the local canines can get a bit tongue-tied. Luckily, this man takes pity. But I bet this poor mutt won't forget his tongue lashing in a hurry. When winter comes, semi-retired buddies Scott Buss and Chuck Whitesill head up to the remote mountain town of McCall in Idaho to indulge in their favorite passion, backcountry snowmobiling.
There's no other feeling like snowmobiling when you're in the mountains, sharing those times with your friends and your buddies. The terrain is endless. There's millions of acres of riding.
Snow, and more snow.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of a secret area in a way that it hasn't really been discovered in so many ways. So.
It's not going to be so secret now.
Yeah, that's right.
On the 17th of December 2017, as Scott and Chuck set out for another day's snowmobiling, they were warned to keep a lookout for an escaped horse. And sure enough, deep in the snowy wilderness, they stumbled across it in a pitiful state, stranded in deep snow.
He had been out there for quite some time without any food and water. You know, when you looked in the horse's eyes, you could tell that he was exhausted. There was no other way but a helicopter to airlift him out of there.
But high winds and poor visibility delayed any airlift attempts for almost a week. To keep the severely depleted animal alive, Scott and Chuck had to make regular 12-mile food runs.
Right now, Ryan, he's stuck.
As soon as I put eyes on this horse, I absolutely had a connection with it.
He's stuck, dude.
It looked very similar to a horse that we had. It just took it to a little different level. You could tell that he knew that we were there to help him.
The guy's equine husbandry paid off. Between them, they kept him alive until the weather improved enough to attempt an air rescue.
The weather that particular day wasn't probably the most ideal for the helicopter to come in, but it had been the best day that we had had in the last 6-7 days. So that morning there was 6 of us. We prepared all of our gear, everything that we were going to need for the horse to be rescued.
We had a pole that we had attached the syringe with the tranquilizer in it so that we could reach him from a ways off.
Yeah, it's hanging.
When he was sedated, it didn't knock the horse out, it just made him very tired.
That's a perfect spot for him. Let's just leave him alone. We got to give him 20 minutes.
In order to get the horse in the harness, which nobody had ever put a horse in the harness before, we took our snow shovels and were able to dig a flat platform and lay the harness on the ground, and then several of us were able to take the horse and actually, while the horse was under sedation, be able to roll the horse over onto the harness.
One of the most important parts of this was making sure that there was a rope from the back of the horse's head that tied back to the harness, because with the horse being sedated, if his head was to lay down, he could actually cut off his ability to breathe, so his head had to be tied in an upward position.
When the helicopter got there, all of a sudden it was a complete blizzard when the chopper blades started blowing over top of us. But I don't know if any of us even felt the snow hitting us in the face. I think the adrenaline just basically took over.
One of the guys took his sweatshirt off and we put it over his face just so that the horse was blindfolded, and really to try to calm him down. And I don't know how a horse would react to flying through the air like that. And gave him the thumbs up to go, and up in the air he went. When we initially lifted the horse off the ground, one of his hind legs was caught in one of the straps. And so we had to set him back down and just slide his leg out and then continue with the lift.
Once the horse was finally lifted off, that's where there was just a huge celebration between all of us. Just so excited to actually see this horse be able to get off the mountain.
A moment I don't think any of us will ever forget.
Ten minutes later, their steed was whisked down to a local horse rescue center, where he was successfully treated for frostbite.
Without us, he was not likely to come off of that alive.
With no owner coming forwards to claim him, the guys named him Riot.
Good boy.
Within a couple of days, that horse was doing very well, and the last I had heard, that horse was doing just fine.
Just normal guys that love riding snowmobiles, and we just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
When Jack Frost comes out to play, spreading his icy peril, he can play havoc with our well-ordered lives. In mild, temperate Britain, people don't have to encounter ice that often, and it shows. All this man wants to do is drag his rubbish up his driveway. but it's proving a formidable challenge.
Hold on, I'm just filming Danny.
This is the very definition of one step forwards, many steps back. In near Arctic Norway, this well-heeled girl really should know better, wearing inappropriate footwear for sub-zero conditions. Platform heels turn this shallow incline into a fraught hill of doom. Miraculously, despite her Bambi on ice impression, she avoids becoming another fashion victim. In Russia, home to the wintry deep freeze, this driver is cautiously edging his way in treacherous conditions. So imagine his shock when he's confronted by this bizarre trucker madness. A bit like the buses. You wait ages for one jackknifing lorry, and two come along at once. In Duluth, Minnesota, temperatures can drop to a bone-chilling -37 degrees Celsius, transforming wooden trails into adventure ice rinks, ideal for these skaters to give their dogs a thorough run-out. Although it takes a fair degree of skill to negotiate at high speed, sharp turns, and man-made obstacles. But despite the occasional wobble, everyone survives in one piece. At first glance, this guy in Yakutsk, Russia, seems off his rocker. Preparing for a dip in -40 degrees Celsius in a leather loincloth.
Да ладно. Да ладно.
Much to the delight of his companion, he plunges 65 feet under the ice cap for fully 25 seconds. In these freezing temperatures, he's liable to catch an awful bug, which is exactly what he does. Still to come, a hurricane hunter braves the world's biggest storms to help protect us.
A decent-sized hurricane will have more power than 10,000 nuclear bombs.
And in Fiji, a carer frantically battles massive floods to return to his orphanage children.
The orphans were needing my help at the time. It was a critical time for them.
Earlier, we saw how in September 2017, two couples were forced to ride out the scariest storm of their lives.
Nossa Senhora, tá todo destruído. I just remember how scared I was. I thought I was maybe going to die.
When Category 5 Hurricane Irma smashed into the Caribbean island St. Martin.
Look at that.
No joke.
Yeah, babe.
No joke.
You know, we didn't know if we were going to die or if we were going to live. You know, we thought that was it.
As the hurricane set off on a deadly 1,000-mile trek west, Irma homed in on Cuba, gate-crashing Yolanda Craig and Jamie Smith's dream holiday in Cayo, Santa Maria.
You know, it's 30 degrees and sunny. What can possibly be coming? We came down to reception one morning to find some notices put on the reception desk saying, we are going to be evacuated today. People were piled onto coaches, sort of just as you were. Take a book and try and enjoy it. I think it was about 14 hours from the beginning.
Yeah, it was a long old day.
When a hurricane watch is declared in Cuba, the government take over everything. They designate where is a safe hotel to go.
Yolanda and Jamie were relocated almost 200 miles west to the resort town Varadero. supposedly out of the line of fire. But Irma had other ideas.
We were confined to our rooms for 72 hours. We weren't to leave under any circumstance, and I think that's when we really realised that it was going to be bad.
Coming.
She's an angry mama.
The hurricane got gradually worse throughout the afternoon, so it wasn't just a case of, surprise, she's here, you know, it's hit and that's it. The weather gets harsher and it gets rougher outside and the wind picks up.
Went into the bathroom, locked the door.
Stopping Irma getting into the bathroom.
We were unfortunately in a room that the lock didn't work on the window.
It flung open.
Hear it constantly being pushed in against the frame, then being ripped open again. Then after about 45 minutes, there was a big rip because it had been ripped out of the frame.
When the small window went, it just created a vacuum in the room, which then took the patio doors out. So the patio doors sort of exploded. It sounded like a train. It got into the bedroom. It was so intense. I think that bathroom door was the only thing that was between us and essentially what was just a wind tunnel.
Water's leaking in. I'm a wet bum. The wind is smashing against the bathroom door.
I was bleak.
Oh, I need a holiday to recover from the holiday.
We were sat against that door for about 8 hours trying to keep it shut.
Hurricane Irma became the first Cat 5 hurricane to make landfall in Cuba in more than 80 years. In 72 hours, she had laid waste to the island, severely damaging over 200,000 homes and killing at least 10 people.
It was quite shocking to see what Irma had done the next morning, really. You know, I don't think we were really expecting to see how bad our room was.
Yeah.
I am.
I think for me, actually, the aftermath was a bit worse.
It's a struggle to even get food, it's a struggle to sleep, it's a struggle to get water. We ended up looking for coconuts on the beach because, you know, we couldn't do anything else. It's amazing how destructive it can be. I think quite a few days afterwards I was quite anxious, you know, you're naturally on edge and I was particularly sort of alert for things.
3 days later, Yolanda and Jamie were flown home to Britain. 1,000 miles away in St. Martin, Ariana Zaya and Christian Hightower were on their way to survey the damage Irma had inflicted on their precious yacht, Mischief.
This is absolutely devastating.
I don't wish a Cat 5 hurricane upon my worst enemy. It's basically like a huge bomb went off. You know, I mean, we're in a disaster zone, in a destruction zone. It was very hard, you know, walking down the dock where we left our boat. We didn't see it. We look over and now I see 4 foot of a mast sticking up out of the water and realized my boat was underwater. The boat was gone.
She's gone. Literally, the concrete pilings were ripped out, and everything here is devastated. And there's boats everywhere, scattered everywhere. It's bad. It's really bad.
When you lose a boat, it's like losing someone in your family. Spent literally every single day, every single night on this boat for 8.5 months.
It's crazy here. It's bad. So much debris around here. It's everywhere. I hope we get out of here.
You're stranded without food, you're stranded without water, you're stranded without electricity.
It's almost in a way harder than the hurricane.
Over at the St. Martin University, Brazilian vlogger Lorraine Mavromatis and her husband David were also about to see their life implode.
About 4 days later, they said it was okay for us to go see our apartment.
Eles estão indo levar a gente agora pra ver nossa casa, pra gente ver como que ficou. A gente tá indo agora.
I was desperate to see my home because my whole life was in there. All my memories, all my belongings were there. I just thought, are they still there? As soon as we got in our car, I knew it wasn't going to be okay. We got to our apartment complex. I looked up. There was no walls, no windows. When I saw that, I already knew. We lost everything. It was one of the toughest moments of my life. Not just because of the material things that I lost, but most importantly, the memories that I lost. Things that money can't buy again. I wasn't even able to recognize my own house because it didn't even have doors, walls, nothing.
E acabou. O sonho acabou. Foi destruído e...
Hurricane Irma had left the island barely habitable, racking up $3 billion of damage. Reluctantly, Lorraine and David joined Ariana and Christian on a military plane evacuating the island. Over 12 days, one of the most powerful hurricanes on record had left a path of destruction across the Caribbean to southeast United States, killing 44 people and affecting millions of lives.
One thing that I learned from this whole experience is enjoy the moments, collect moments, not things. In a matter of seconds, you can lose everything you have.
Hurricanes are without doubt the most deadly and powerful natural disasters on the planet. The strongest Category 5 hurricanes can generate winds of over 200 miles per hour, dump 2.4 trillion gallons of rain a day, and cause unparalleled devastation. One expert who's had a unique bird's-eye view is Jack Parrish, based in Lakeland, Florida.
I got in this business way back in 1980, and the thing that was fascinating is that the sheer magnitude of these amazing creatures. A decent-sized hurricane during the time of its life will have more power than 10,000 nuclear bombs.
Jack, as a member of the NOAA Hurricane Hunters, is tasked with flying into the eye of the storm in the name of science.
The tracks that we fly are very much focused on getting the airplanes as low as possible into the windiest areas with multiple passes through the centers into the worst part of the storm. We're going to take a battering at times up to the point where we basically have to cry uncle and say the plane can't take any more than this. It can be quite extreme for brief periods.
The Hurricane Hunters' Lockheed turboprop planes, affectionately called Kermit and Miss Piggy, are in effect flying laboratories. Using radars, probes, and a whole host of other cutting-edge equipment, they measure the size, strength, and direction of hurricanes. And it's all for our benefit.
Our big thing is protection of life and property. We have to get the right people away from the wrong places and do it early enough that we get them all out of the way. We're getting better and better at forecasting where the storm is going. We're still working really hard on getting a lot better at how strong is it going to be in 3 and 4 and 5 days. Very important, because if you warn people that it's going to be a Cat 4 and it comes ashore as a Cat 1, they're not going to listen to you the next time.
Atlantic hurricane season for Jack takes place between June and November. This veteran has now chalked up 38 straight years of hunting, but nothing prepared him for 2017.
In a normal hurricane season, a couple become major hurricanes. What makes 2017 so extraordinary, sheer numbers. There were 10 in a row that became hurricanes, 10 in a row. At least 4 that reached the major hurricane strength this year. And to have them hitting populated coastal areas at the same time, so rare.
Hurricanes may have the worst possible rep, but before you write them off, consider this. Without them, the world will be a far more hostile place.
Global weather is there to make our Earth survivable. The hurricanes are balancing the heat. They're reducing how hot it is near the equator, so they're making those places a lot better to live, and then moves the heat to places that need it, to the cold areas. So it's really, really valuable for the Earth. It's just sometimes it comes with a destructive price tag.
When a hurricane strikes, one of the main threats to life is from storm surges, wind-powered seawater that can travel as much as 30 miles inland. It's 2012, and Hurricane Sandy is slamming into the U.S. eastern seaboard around New York City. Winds of over 100 miles per hour whipped up tides 20% bigger than normal, battering prime coastal communities. Bricks and mortar no defense to the hurricane-fueled sea. In 2018, a winter storm unleashed its fury on Puerto Rico. With seawater weighing 1,700 pounds per cubic yard, it's an irresistible force. This man just managing to cling on and avoid the dreaded suckback into the jaws of the merciless ocean. When the 2018 bomb cyclone storm hammered North America, this guy near Boston recklessly ventures out to film the sea surge. Not only is he risking his neck dodging the giant breakers, they're filled with chunks of ice, increasing the risk of hypothermia. But he gets away with it, unlike the coastal community Marblehead that's knee-deep in floodwaters. It's not just the sea that can generate catastrophic storm surges. The normally placid Lake Ohrid in Macedonia has become a tempest following a violent storm. The owners powerless as their restaurant turns into a swimming pool. One of the biggest storm surges in living memory arrived with Hurricane Katrina.
The water's up to the doorknob on the front door.
Measuring a frightening 28 feet, it wiped out 80% of New Orleans, displaced more than 1 million people in the Gulf Coast region, and racked up $150 billion worth of damage.
Oh, there's my tree from the front door.
Not surprisingly, it became the worst residential disaster in U.S. history. In the beautiful South Pacific island of Fiji, Wame Bosailewa is a valued member of the Ba community. The 40-year-old runs a small orphanage, providing the boys under his care with fresh hope.
I'm working as a home superintendent. I have 21 boys in the orphanage. The younger one is 7-year-old, and the eldest one in the home is 18-year-old. 5 Fijian, and the rest is my Indian children.
But on April the 1st, 2018, Wame's Fiji idyll was thrown into turmoil. As Cyclone Josie swept in unannounced. As a Category 1 storm, the main threat to life didn't come from the wind, but torrential rain.
The cyclone Josie, it's very much different from the other cyclone that we have in Fiji due to the radio announcement. It was not announced to us that Josie is about to come into Fiji, and Fiji was not prepared. The flooding was very fast, and a lot of people lost their properties.
In 48 hours, Josie's rainfall exceeded 8 inches. When the storm struck, Wame had been attending Easter service at a church out of town. Just a few hours, floodwaters had sealed off his route back to the orphanage.
I was coming back from the Easter Sunday service when I come to contact with the flooding. I was really emotional. That's the first time I see such kind of flooding in Ba. I was hoping that the water would be going down, but actually the water continues to rise up. From 11:30 and until 3 o'clock, when the police came to rescue me. We only have one police boat that day, the 21-feet fiberglass boat to rescue people from their homes and pick those people on top of that roof. People were not prepared for that kind of flood. So those people who are standing on the roof of the bus stop, they were waving, seeking for assistance to be helped. They are shocked, they are not believing that the flood will be that big. Most of them are traumatized. I was very shocked. I can't believe what I saw that day. So I was thinking of the boys in the orphanage home. I have to go there. The orphans were needing my help at the time. It was a critical time for them, for me to take care of them, because flooding is coming up. It's really a terrifying moment.
Upsettingly for Wame, he wasn't able to reach his orphanage, as the swollen, fast-flowing Ba River was too dangerous to cross. Instead, he joined 2,000 islanders, forced to spend the night at evacuation centers.
I was not sleeping very well, because I'm thinking of the boys in the orphanage. It was not a very good time. Like, oh, it's going down, going back. I'm again, then I sleep again, then I check it. Oh, it's almost there, almost there. Then at 4 o'clock, 4:30, then I can see that I can see the road. I can walk from there to where I park my van. Then I drive from there to the orphanage. We were fortunate. The orphanage is on top of the hill, so there was nothing destroyed during flood.
Sadly, despite Josie being on the bottom rung of the cyclone scale, at least 4 people lost their lives, swept away by the floods. The catastrophe also decimated crops, animals, and livestock.
It is the worst flooding that we have seen here in Ba. We feel sorry of those people who were staying in low-lying areas. I know that their belongings were washed away by the flooding. They lose a lot during that flood. You know, the destruction was very, very, very big, very big.
Sometimes, no matter how hard we try to impress, Mother Nature has a cruel habit of raining on our parade. In Newcastle, New South Wales, All this bather wants to do is get a spectacular selfie with big breakers as a backdrop. But Neptune has other ideas and delivers a photobomb he'll never forget. Apparently in Penza, Russia, when heavy rain saturates the hillside, the farmers love nothing better than a spot of competitive tractor hill climbing, backwards. Unfortunately, this old relic looks ready for the knacker's yard. Helping it on its way is gradient and gravity. The driver almost joining it in the great scrap heap in the sky. Not that his mates seem overly bothered. This pair of synchronized surfers in Hawaii obviously fancy themselves a tad, as they show off their complicated balancing routine. The only problem, the higher you go, the harder you fall. And the more likely you'll knock out your front teeth. This man in Canada is clearly not the sharpest tool in the box, as he embarks on his scientific experiment to test the breaking point of an ice overhang. Jumping around like an angry toddler surprisingly doesn't do the trick. But a few strategic stomps does. He must be proud of himself, proving the ice isn't the thickest object around. In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature give full vent to her fury. We've seen how helpless we can be. We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces. And next time there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.